How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be studying from the book of Genesis. More so, we're going to be taking apart from the story of Esau and Jacob. So, a little background on the story. Esau and Jacob were twins. Esau had his father's favor because he was a little bit older. He went out into the field, got the game, brought it back. Where Jacob, he just kind of hung around, made the food. He had his mother's favor. And he didn't really like that. He wanted his father's favor. So there's a part in the story where Esau sells Jacob his birthright, and towards the end of the story, Jacob ends up getting Esau's blessing, and Esau just ends up losing out pretty much. So today we're going to read Genesis 25:29. I'll give you a minute to get there. All right, Esau sells his birthright. Now Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was very weary. And Esau said to Jacob, "Please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary." Therefore his name was called Edom. But Jacob said, "Sell me your birthright as of this day." And Esau said, "Look, I am about to die, so what is this birthright to me?" Then Jacob said, "Swear to me as of this day." So he swore to him, sold his birthright to Jacob, and Jacob gave Esau some bread, stew of lentils, and he ate, drank, arose, and went on his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So this is the takeaway in today's world that we should take from that story. Esau came in, and he was hungry. He wanted some stew. He wanted it bad. And Jacob looked at him and said, "Okay, I'll feed you, but sell me your birthright. I want our father's blessing. Sell me your birthright." And Esau, he was so hungry and so focused on that food that he wanted, that he sold Jacob his birthright and ended up losing out in the end because of it. So basically, this is the takeaway. Everything you want in life, say you have a job you don't really care for and you want something different. Say you live in a bad neighborhood and you want something better for your family. Say you don't have a family but you'd like to have one day. Basically, God knows you want it. The enemy knows you want it. But the enemy has an objective. He wants your soul, and he wants to keep you away from God. Where God, all he wants from us is to be a blessing to other people and to bring people into the kingdom. What you do for other people is what you do for God. So, if you have a job you don't really like, how bad do you want to get out of there? Because God can give you a great new job with double the salary. The enemy can give you a great new job with double the salary. But the enemy has a price for it. God can get you out of that bad neighborhood. The enemy can get you out of that bad neighborhood. But the enemy has a price for it. So that's the thing to think about. Not every door that opens is a good door to go through. Not every opportunity that presents itself is an opportunity from God. So when an opportunity does present itself, a good thing to do would be to pray on it. Ask Jesus if this is the opportunity for you. Is this the opportunity you're presenting to me? Is this a good door to walk through? And see what he says. If he says yes, then go ahead and go for it. If he says no, then you just need to walk away from that open door, never look back at it, and be done with it. I'll even give you a story. So, I used to work for a job. I'm not going to say the company or what I did, but I used to work for a job where we were micromanaged like nobody's business. I've been cussed at by management, been called names by management. It was bad. So, an opportunity with another company presented itself, and I was honestly stoked. I was 10 minutes away from being hired on. I was 10 minutes away from giving that company notice, and it was going to be a wonderful thing, or at least I thought. But then one day, I'm driving home. I'm still on cloud 9, and a voice came to me. If you took this job, are you still going to be able to do what you need to do for church? Because the job I was working at the time allowed me Sundays off, and this job wasn't really going to give me that. So I go home and I pray on it. I asked the Lord. I basically said, this opportunity is presenting itself to me. I want to know if it's a good road to go down. Can you please help me with this decision? So I end up doing a little more research on the company, and it was a vehicle transporting company that I was going to be working for. And come to find out, this company has had problems in Illinois, Florida, and I think even Georgia, because people would buy a car from them and they wouldn't get the DMV paperwork out, at least not in a timely manner. And Illinois, Florida, and Georgia were getting ready to shut their whole operation down. So it's like, yeah, okay. If they're having problems like that, that's kind of a red flag. But also, it gets even better. This company, rather than try and work with those states and try and figure out what they can do to rectify the situation, they were actually trying to go to court and fight the states on their policies, on the law. So it's like, okay, not only are you not getting the DMV paperwork out, which is kind of an important thing when you're buying a car, you're really gonna, try and fight them on it? So basically, it's like, what are we doing here? So long story short, I end up staying with the job I'm at until I was able to find something else later on. And, who knows? I don't want to be out of a job one day because, my state shut down their whole operation and, now they can't move cars and I don't get a paycheck. So there's that. Also, when God says no to something, got to remember, when you pray on something, sometimes God says, yes, that's a great idea, go for it. Sometimes he says, yeah, but I think we need to wait a little while. And sometimes the answer is a hard no. And the latter two can be a difficult thing to hear. It can. But you also got to remember, God's not saying no. God's not saying wait because, he wants to see you in that situation forever. He's not trying to leave you there. He's not trying to, leave you in that situation forever. He's telling you no, or he's telling you wait for a very specific reason. Who knows? If I'd have taken that job, maybe they'd have had problems in California and I would have been out of a job. I mean, maybe, who knows, maybe that company, if they wouldn't have had problems, maybe that company had a manager that was just as bad that, would have made my life miserable. Maybe that company had a coworker that, decided they didn't like me for some reason and, took every opportunity to try and wreak havoc in my life. Who knows? I mean, every time God says no and every time God says wait, I mean, it's tough, but always remember there's a reason behind it. You don't always know what that reason is. You don't always have to know what that reason is. But just trust that God knows what he's doing. Trust that God's got your best interest at heart. Trust that God is there for you. Where the enemy, he'll say, yeah, go for it. And then, if something bad happens, he's just going to sit back and enjoy the show. He's going to sit back, enjoy the show. And, I mean, frankly, he doesn't care what happens to you. I mean, yeah, he doesn't need a paycheck from a job to pay his bills. I mean, he doesn't care. Or if he thinks it'll keep you away from God, say you want a new job and there's a coworker there that, is going to cause you to slip and, say you even make friends with a person and, come to find out that person, likes to indulge in things they shouldn't be indulging in. And, they invite you to partake in such activities. I mean, if the enemy knows that also happens to be what you like, it's going to be a lot harder to tell that person no when they invite you to do what they're asked, when they invite you to do what they want to do. Be it clubbing or drinking or smoking or whatever that is. I mean, just so anyways, not to get off topic, basically, just think about what it is that you want. Think about what it is that you've been praying for. Think about what it is that, you're asking God to put in your life or take out of your life or change in your life. A door might open, but is it the door you should be going through? Is it the door that God opened for you? Even if it looks like the greatest thing in the world, is it the door that God opened for you? That is why you stay in church. That is why you pray every night. That is why you pray on your situation. And that is why you get your daily dose of the Bible. Because the enemy is there to deceive us. He's there to kill and destroy. And anything we take from him, he wants something in return. So just think about that. Next time you're thinking about that thing you want to change, that thing you don't want, just because something presents itself doesn't mean it's the correct way to go. So I hope this helped clarify a few things. I hope this helped make things clear. You guys have a great week. God bless you and your family. Take care.